Well, we might just have the biggest breaking news of the trade deadline here because Juan Soto is a San Diego Padre along with Josh Bell. A massive deal. The Nationals, a little bit of an underwhelming package, might I say. CJ Abrams, Robert Hassell, and those are the two big pieces. And then the third piece is Jarlin Susana. I think it's the Padres. I think number 1, 3, and 14 process. I think actually I don't think Abrams is a prospect anymore. Based on MLB Pipeline, it is their number 1 prospect and their number 14 prospect. Yeah, the Padres are making moves. They added Hader yesterday, and now they're adding Juan Soto. It's a massive, massive deal. So we're gonna cover it right here on Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derek, and I'm here with Barnes. So let's dive straight into this. So let's just start off with the package going back to the Nats first. We'll cover it really quickly because we know Soto's the big topic here, and Josh Bell, obviously. Abrams hitting 232 in the big leagues this year. Oh no, Soto. Did I say Soto? CJ or did I say Abrams? I don't even remember at this point. My mind's going crazy. Abrams hitting 232 in the big leagues this year. Hasn't been great the big leagues. In AAA this year, he is hitting 314 though, with a 367, 364 on base and a 507 slugging. Solid year. From the Padres. They also get Robert Hassell, who at 20 years old and high A's hitting 299 this year with a 379 on base and a 467 slugging. Actually, we just got noticed that James Wood, the number 3 overall prospect for the Padres, also added in. So he's an A-ball at 19 years old. He's hitting 321 with a 439 on base and a 565 slugging. That's another very good piece. Susana, the right-handed pitcher, 2.45 ERA in rookie ball this year as an 18-year-old. And then there's still one more minor league player right now. That's the only holdup on the deal right now is that one final minor league player. But it is a massive package. But I'm going to go to Barnes first to cover Juan Soto. What does this mean for baseball as a whole, for the Padres, for the Nationals? What does it mean?
In the small scope, for the Padres, all the chips are in. They're going for it. You acquire Hader, you get Soto, and like you said, Bell. That's huge. 3 humongous pieces. And they re-signed Musgrove right to that contract.
Yep.
So they're in for this year. They're in for the next couple years. So that National League West is going to be super competitive between them and the Dodgers for the next couple of years, which will be fun to watch from afar. For baseball, wow. It seems like the Padres, somehow got the way better end of the deal here. I feel like the Nationals could have gotten a little bit more. I actually think Abrams is and can be pretty good. The Nationals got a pretty high value middle infielder. He was a first round pick in 2019. He was the 6th pick overall, which is like pretty cool. He's got that draft pedigree. But it's like, holy cow, could no other team put up a better offer than this? As a Yankee fan, it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe we could have gotten away with, a slightly underwhelming package for one of those guys. So it's like, oh man, we may have missed out, but hey, you know what? Credit where credit's due. San Diego, good job on pulling it off, but holy cow, this is wild.
Yeah, exactly. I think what I'm thinking is the Dodgers were kind of like they're in conversations. I think it seems like their focus might be a little bit more starting pitching and getting one of the control guys, like maybe a Pablo Lopez. I know has been on the radar. I know it's going to take a heck of a lot to get him. I know he's been on the radar. Maybe they just stand pat. And they also said they don't want to trade any of their top prospects like Cartaya, which I'm guessing the Nats maybe want, but they also got Caber Ruiz. They don't really need a catching prospect, but that could have came up. Also, too, the Cardinals supposedly didn't want to include Jordan Walker in the deal, who's the number 1 prospect. So that probably took that deal off the table. So yeah, it seems that with that, you're getting the Padres former number 1 prospect. I think Abrams was a top 10 prospect in baseball. Now you're getting Hassell, who is the current number 1 prospect. You're getting the number 3 prospect and the number 14 guy. Yeah, that is, and now the Nats scouting department is calling Jarlin Susana, who's the Padres' number 14 prospect, a sleeper, in quotes, sleeper. So the seems like the Nats are fine with what they got. Um, it's one of these deals though that I feel like as a team giving up Juan Soto, it's never gonna look great for you return wise, just because it takes so much to match Juan Soto's value. Not many teams even have that. So I think it was kind of always gonna be a little bit of the Nationals giving up more value, but the fact that they also added in Josh Bell to this deal as well, and there's no Corbin contract, which I said from the whole time there wasn't going to be, but there's no Corbin contract involved. None of that. It's yeah, it's great. It's crazy. Now there is word coming out that the Padres thought Wood actually is a better prospect than Hassell, which is very interesting to hear. Um, but they're all going to Washington anyways to the Nats. Bell's having a great year. Soto, he's Juan Soto. He's a career 290 hitter. And he's only 23, but he's been in the league for 4 seasons. Like the guy's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. And this might be the biggest deal in MLB history, at least in recent MLB history.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I'm like sitting here and I'm like, what were some like really big, like not only just deadline day moves, but just moves in general. And nothing is shooting out to me. And this might be like one of those things where, in 20, 30 years, we're still like, holy cow, remember that time that the Padres pulled this off and how they we'll retrospect in 20 years, we might be able to go, wow, they fleeced the Nats, or the Nats like somehow like actually came out pretty good from this. Like, who knows how it's going to play out? I'm just really excited to see how it plays out from as a baseball fan. As a Yankee fan, I'm like, holy cow. Not only do we have to try and go through Houston, who's making a ton of moves, and if we make it past Houston and we face the Padres or the Dodgers, it's like, holy cow, we're going against mega powers here. You look at that Padres lineup when they're all healthy, completely healthy. You got Tatis, Machado, Bell, Soto, Myers Grisham, Myers,
Voit, Hosmer,
Cronenworth, the names go on. It's like, holy cow, you're getting no breaks. The San Diego team is all in for this year. I said it earlier in the video. They're all in for next year. They're going for it. And I love that gutsy play. I love it. Just go for it while you can.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that Bob Nightingale did tweet this morning that the Padres see Soto as they could give up a lot now and still get a lot in return in terms of they could get some of their investment back if they trade them before 2024. Now that catches my eye because that could be if the Padres don't feel comfortable giving up that much money in an extension, they're gonna have this year and next year of Soto, and then they could just trade him again and get some pretty good return on their investment. And then also as well, they're in a very good spot to win a World Series this year and next year. You got Hader for this year, next year. You got Soto for this year, next year. Bell for this year. Cronenworth, Tatis, Machado are all there. Grisham's still there. Like, this Padres team is looking good. Musgrove's now signed long term. Like, they are bringing in pieces to go for it and locking up pieces that they need for this year and next year, and maybe even beyond that. So it's very crazy to think that now the National League West, it's truly a two-horse race, especially once the Padres get Tatis back.
Yeah, no, the biggest draw for me was the investment on Soto for any team. And it was one of those things where, a couple weeks ago, I tried to do a Twitter space. Follow us on Twitter, at Bleacher Brawl on Twitter. You can follow me particularly at Barnes BBS. But I did a thing like, hey, if the Yankees could pull it off, you'd quote, give up the farm for him this year. And like you said, if it doesn't work out, try and trade him next year. You can get a bunch of prospects back for Soto, especially if it just doesn't work out as a team thing. I don't think if Soto has a bad rest of this season, I don't think anyone's going to freak out. But yeah, you could definitely still deal him. I love the move by the Padres. It's just
Well,
it's just electrifying.
yeah. And now, actually, some more details because Eric Hosmer is also going to the Nationals in this deal now. That's just been announced.
Makes
Which
sense.
I don't know
It
because that's
it
like
makes it makes sense in the fact that they kind of need to make room for Bell, and the Nats needed a major leaguer in return. So I get it. At the same time, I don't. But we'll see
yeah,
how it plays out.
value wise doesn't make sense unless the Nationals are covering a bunch of that salary. I mean, not the Nationals, the Padres are covering a bunch of that salary. Um, like because Hosmer, that's a very underwater contract. And there was whole talk about the Nationals. They didn't want to eat a contract. Obviously, it seems like they're willing to take on Hosmer's contract, or at least some of it. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with that. How much of that contract do the Padres eat? If they eat any of it, that'll be interesting to see. We don't know about that yet. But yeah, this is a massive, massive deal. Um, and with now Hosmer off the books and Will Myers will be off the books, they have money to resign Soto now if they want to. At least in the next couple years, there's money on the books.
Yeah, no, it makes a ton of sense for the Hosmer part. They'll be able to recoup a lot of money, to re-sign Soto. If it works out this year, say they win it all, it's like boom, let's run it back. Okay, let's run it back a third time. They have that ability now. I think once again, it makes sense. Maybe at first glance it doesn't, but where's Hosmer playing right now? Is he playing first? He's playing one of those corner infield positions. You got Machado, you got Myers to cover that spot. You have Bell to cover one of those corner spots. You can slide Myers into the outfield. Like I said, I think the more and more I'm seeing and hearing about the deal as we're recording this, the more it makes sense. And I'm like, holy cow. Like,
Yep, and we got another piece added to the deal. Mackenzie Gore is added to the deal now as well. Another guy who was a former top prospect. I'm pretty sure I'm 99.9% sure he's still not he's not a prospect anymore, which I'm right about that, but that's another former top prospect going to the Nats
yeah.
in this deal. Which I still, and obviously now the Hosmer deal, I'm guessing there's cash involved in this deal. They're probably, if the Padres are eating a significant chunk of Hosmer's contract, I say, you know what? It kind of makes sense, right? It's like, okay, if the Cardinals aren't willing to include Jordan Walker in a deal and Carlson, they're still hesitant on including, even though they are kind of willing to. Like, and then the Dodgers were kind of in, but not like fully in. Um, so it's yeah, I don't know how to word this. This is like a trade that's like gonna be like we're gonna look back at this trade in like 10 years and go, um, and that would be like, okay, how did this pan out? Did the Padres win a World Series? Yes or no? If they did, cool. If they didn't, and they don't keep Soto long term, it could be a very bad deal for the Padres when we look back at it. However, they win a World Series. Who cares about what they gave up?
Yep. I tweeted this out yesterday, and it's like one of those things, especially, for these teams that have like these big, expansive farm systems like the Padres, like the Dodgers. Prospects are nice, parades are better. So they're going in. They're going in for that World Series parade. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the interesting thing with Hosmer, the Nationals are on Hosmer's 10-team no trade list. So Hosmer does have to approve of it, but supposedly they're going to work it out one way or another and get Hosmer to the Nationals. So there is a couple of I think kinks in it they have to work through. Um, but it should looks like it will happen. So the full trade's looking like Mackenzie Gore. Oh, I might have just missed Mackenzie Gore in the original tweet. I might have just read over it. But the full package is Mackenzie Gore, Robert Hassell, CJ Abrams, James Wood, Jarlin Susana, and Eric Hosmer. That is a massive package for Juan Soto. I'm guessing there's cash in that deal as well. If there's not, that's very surprising. I would guess there is. But yeah, it's a massive deal. The Padres are going to be very good. But also, can we now talk about this young core that the Nats have? They got Ruiz and Josiah Gray last year from the Dodgers, and now they're getting this massive young core of Abrams, Hassell, Wood, Gore, Susana, and yeah, and Hosmer's that last piece of the deal. Um, so yeah, massive deal. And the Nationals, they're getting a decent young core together. Um, and they could be good in a few years. They could turn it around and be good in a few years.
Yeah, of course. Anytime you get a young core like this, you're hoping that you're building for the next couple years. They they won a championship with SOTO. I don't want to say that they did what they needed to do, but they got it done. They have a championship, and they can still celebrate that. That's what they can hang their hats on, knowing that SOTO wasn't going to resign. It's like, hey, might as well gut it now, get as much as you can back in return. Let's try to fire it up, for 2026. Which kind of stinks as a fan base to hear. If you're the Nationals fan, you're like, oh man, we got to wait all this time to go. And the Mets are going to be good. The Marlins always seem to be pesky good. The Braves are going to be solid for the next couple of years. So hey, maybe we can catch it when the Mets and Braves are doing this, and we can start to do this. So hey, Nats, I get it. And Nats fan, it's going to stink, and it sucks to lose your face the franchise type of guy. But hey, you know what? You got a pretty solid package in return, something to be excited about for the next couple of years.
Yeah. Now, the only question mark in this deal, like I said, Hosmer, he's been notified, still hasn't consented to the trade yet. So that's the only kind of last little bump in the trade. But the belief is that they'll figure it out either way, with Hosmer or without him.
Wondering if somehow another team gets involved for Hosmer somehow, and
Maybe.
Mancini just got traded from the Orioles. Who knows? Maybe our resident Orioles fan here at Bleacher Brawls, Doug, would be very excited with Hosmer going there, but who knows?
Well, the thing is, he only has a 10-team no trade list. So there's 20 teams he could go to. So you could easily pull in a third team and say, here's Hosmer. We'll throw you a bunch of money to eat up so you don't have to really take on his contract and just give us something to make the trade work. Something like that maybe. Because they kind of have to get rid of Hosmer if they are getting Bell. Now, if for whatever reason they can't get rid of Hosmer, maybe they take Bell out of the deal and maybe Bell goes somewhere else. But I doubt that. But it is very interesting to see what's going to happen with Voit, Hosmer, Bell. It's three guys, three first basemen. You can only put them at first base and DH, so you only have two spots for them. Now it seems like Hosmer will accept the trade. However, it seems like Hosmer will only accept it on the condition that he'll be released. That seems like that might be the only way for it to work. Which is kind of NBA style, but if you're the Nats, I'd say you're willing to do that.
Yeah, if you're the Nats, you're just essentially, Hosmer's not the big piece that you're looking to build around or anything. He's just a major leaguer that's coming across to, kind of even it out, get you a replacement for Bell. Even though it sounds like he's not going to sign, but you're just, if you're the Nats, you're just looking to get the deal done. You're trying to get the new core. You're trying to get the young guys to build for 2026.
Yeah. Now, I'm saying, that's obviously an option. That's not I'm not saying Hosmer has done that or will do that. That's an option. Now, the one big thing though is Scott Boras is the agent for Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Mackenzie Gore, also what's his name? James Wood, and also Eric Hosmer. He's the agent of 5 pieces in this trade. He doesn't want this trade to fall through. So he's gonna try and get Hosmer to accept the trade.
Yeah, I mean, it always feels like these agents are really just trying to get these trades done. Obviously for the players and the teams, but definitely for themselves. He wouldn't want to. If I'm Scott Boras, I'm not trying to lose this deal. I'm trying to provide for my own family, which I totally get. So yeah, I think they're going to find a way they'll find a way before 6 p.m. Eastern to push this all the way through and get it done. Hosmer will be, I'm wondering if he'll be a national, but like I said, I think Hosmer will be on a new team. Bell will be on a new team. That's going to get finalized, but Soto as a Padre, that's official. Boom. It's such a strong team.
Yeah, exactly. And now, interestingly enough, before I wrap this thing up, the Padres play the Dodgers Friday, Saturday, Sunday, August 5th, 6th, and 7th. Sunday night baseball on Sunday on ESPN. It's gonna be a fun series. Soto with the Padres in LA. All the Dodgers fans cheered him when he was there with the Nationals because they wanted him. While he's going to the Padres, their rivals. that's gonna be a fun series. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. We're running a little long, so we're gonna wrap it up there. Thanks for tuning in to Bleacher Brawls. Make sure to check out all our links in the description. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when we're posted. When we post it, because we're posting a bunch of stuff. I think 6 videos go up yesterday, and we'll have a bunch more today. So thanks for tuning in. For Barnes, I'm Derek, and we'll see you next time.